Black history. Facts you may not know. Who was the first Black American activist to exercise their rights not to give up their seat on public transportation? Was it Rosa Parks, Claudette Colvin, or none of the above? If you answered none of the above, you are correct. Elizabeth Jennings Graham. Elizabeth Jennings Graham was a Black American teacher and civil rights figure. In 1854, Graham insisted on her right to ride on an available New York City car at a time when most operated were segregated cars. On July 16, 1854, Elizabeth, a 24-year-old school teacher, set out to the first colored congregational church on 16th Street and 2nd Avenue. She waited for the bus on the corner of Pearl and Chatham. Jennings opted for a bus without the colored persons allowed sign. When boarded the streetcar, the conductor told her to get off, first alleging the car was full when it was not. When that was shown to be false, the conductor falsely acted as though the passengers were displeased by her presence. When Jennings stood her ground by insisting on her rights, the conductor took hold of her by force to remove her. But Jennings resisted. A massive rally took place the following day, and Jennings hired an attorney from the law firm of Clover Park and Arthur. Lizzie was represented by 24-year-old Chester A. Arthur, who would go on to become the 21st president upon the death of James A. Garfield in 1881. The trial took place in the Buses Company's home base of Brooklyn, then a separate city, where in early 1855, Judge William Rockwell of Brooklyn Circuit City Court ruled in Elizabeth Jennings Graham's favor. Claudette Colvin. On March 2, 1955, a 15-year-old Claudette Colvin was riding home from school when the city bus driver told her to give up her seat to a white passenger. She refused, saying, "It's my constitutional right to sit here as much as that lady. I paid my fare. It's my constitutional right." Colvin felt compelled to stand her ground. Colvin stated, "I felt like Sojourner Truth was pushing down on one shoulder and Harriet Tubman was pushing down on the other, saying, 'Sit down, girl.' I was glued to my seat," she later told Newsweek. According to Biography.com, the NAACP briefly considered Colvin's case to challenge the segregation laws, but it decided against it because of her age. If you sleep better at night and when you're away from home because you have a security system, you should know it was invented by a Black woman, Marie Van Britten Brown. Marie Van Britten Brown felt uneasy in her neighborhood, and the police were unreliable, so she took matters in her own hands and patented the modern home security system. Over 50 years later, the technology is installed in millions of homes and offices worldwide. Most know that Madam C.J. Walker was one of the first Black millionaires who invented a line of African American products after suffering from a scalp ailment. But she wasn't the first. Annie Turnbow Malone. Annie Turnbow Malone was one of the country's first Black millionaires. In early 1900s, Malone developed and manufactured her own line of non-damaging hair straighteners, special oils, and hair stimulant products for African American women. She moved to St. Louis, where she began selling her hair products door to door to African American women. She taught her customers how to use her products properly, and she gave away free samples. She established Poro College in 1918, the cosmetology school and training center that offered black women a place to advance themselves. Annie's business quickly grew, and by 1924, she had a net worth of $14 million, which is worth a little over $348 million today, and she employed over 75,000 sales agents. Annie donated a lot of her wealth to charity. She also made sure her African American employees received decent salaries and could advance within her company. But let's back up a bit. In 1904, Annie hired the young sales agent named Sarah Breedlove as one of her door-to-door sales agents. You probably know Breedlove better as Madam C.J. Walker, who invented a line of Black American hair products. And according to Biology.com, after suffering from a scalp ailment that resulted in her own hair loss. Inspired by Annie, Sarah Breedlove eventually started her own business with her own line of hair care products and beauty products for Black American women in 1906. Sarah Breedlove, known as Madam C.J. Walker's business, was very successful, and she was a competitor to Annie Malone's Poro Company. At its height, Madam C.J. Walker's company had an annual revenue of $500,000. That's around $1,200 million in today's value. And she employed 25,000 sales agents. Madam C.J. Walker gave vast sums to the Black American community. Also, she taught Black American women how to build businesses and become financially independent. Recognizing Annie Turnbull Malone and Madam C.J. Walker. Mary Eliza Mahoney. Mary Eliza Mahoney was the first Black American to study and work as a professionally trained nurse in the United States. In 1879, Mahoney was the first Black American to graduate from an American School of Nursing. In 1878, at the age of 33, Mahoney was admitted into a program at the New England Hospital for Women and Children. Black women in the 19th century faced systematic barriers to formal training and career opportunities as licensed nurses. Nursing schools in the American South rejected applications from Black American women, whereas further north, though the opportunities was still severely limited, there was greater chance at acceptance into training and graduate programs. Out of a class of 40, Mahoney and 2 white women were the only students to complete the program and receive their degrees. Nat King Cole. Renowned singer and jazz pianist Nat King Cole was the first Black American to host a TV show, NBC's The Nat King Cole Show. Dr. Carter G. Woodson. The creator of Black History Month was historian Carter G. Woodson, often referred to as the father of Black history. He was notably the second Black American to graduate from Harvard University with a doctorate degree and is accredited with being one of the first scholars to study and research the history of African Americans.